The money part in the relationship is very important. And it's kind of funny sometimes some people try to act like it's not important. It is important because when you have an intentional relationship that you're sharing some type of intention, um, money reveals your values. And so when those values are not, if your values are colliding, it's going to show in how you spend money. And so it's very important to understand what are the financial practices that somebody observes. And so, of course, when the finances is wacky, it's going to bring conflicts into relationship. So, if you have an intentional relationship, it's very important to make sure that the financial practice is um, favorable to support the basis of preservation uh, goals and the health and the well-being, and so forth, to be able to navigate through life with minimal um, stress. If you're constantly being all up in arms, when you're going to pay a bill or when emergencies come up, it's going to bring a dampness. It's going to bring, it's going to bring some weights into the relationship that you don't want to lift for long periods of time. And a lot of times we just have issues with management. So it's important to make sure that we have a level of financial management intact. Okay. Also, I want to add this is if you're in an intentional relationship, it's very important to understand the different sources of income. And those different sources of income, independently by themselves, should be able to take care of the expenses. Why? This gives you leverage over your basic preservation. Because people don't practice sound financial practices in a relationship, they stay in survival mode. The reality is, a lot of us will not admit it, but we know. I spend a lot of time sitting down talking to many, many different people, and I already know this. A lot of us, if we had the financial flexibility and the financial sufficiency, we would not be, or we would not have entertained certain relationships. So the finances really plays a role in our choices with each other. And I want we got to be ask ourselves, would I be with this person if I was financially sufficient? And of course, if you're answering no, then that shows a whole lot really about yourself. And then later, there's an underlining, conflict. It's going to manifest because it can't stay hidden there. So in the area of finances, y'all seem like things are just not working out and stuff like that. You got to look at each other's motivations and how you're going to make sure that you lock in some type of sustainability from the financial aspect. And again, everybody has their own views, but I would say this: lots of when I'm coaching couples and stuff like that, I come from this angle. If you're in an intentional relationship, you know, you need to have more than one source of income, right? Because if you're just trying to operate off one source of income, then the probability when something comes and disrupts the normacy, it's going to bring a lot of pressure. So don't put yourself in an intentional relationship and put on this extra burden until you already have carved out um, different sources of income. So I'm gonna say minimum of two, and then whoever you and you're partnering with, that they have two. So now you got four sources of income, and each income by itself can take care of the basic expenses, at least. If it's not able to do that, then you have the responsibility, each person has the responsibility to make sure they build up that income stream to begin to make sure it takes care of that. Why? Because you can betterly manage the stress. You didn't have leverage over it. Then you can spend more time relating. A lot of us in most relationships, and it's sad, a lot of us are in relationships really truly relating with each other. we're really surviving and competing with each other. So as long as the finances is out of order, we're going to find ourselves really more in survival mode and more in competing with each other. And competing could show up in many different ways. You might make a purchase and I'm questioning, why did you buy that? Or you buy that and I can't buy this and stuff like that. So it gets into a lot of comparisons. It gets real, real ugly. But the end of the day it's just pointing to the financial piece is not in sync. And so there has to be a syncing um, with the financial side inside the Pentagon of relationships. Okay, so